Yeah, so hi guys, thank you for having me. I'm Zakir Abbas. I'm a current civil service fast streamer working in the digital data and technology stream. I'm actually working for the Ministry of Justice, and my role is as a delivery manager within Her Majesty's Prison and Probation Services. So the HMPPS team is working to improve prisons and improve the experience of prisoners within their stay during prisons. And my particular role is looking at firstly trying to reduce reoffending, and then secondly, and probably most importantly, trying to reduce prisoner self-harm in prisons. And we'll do that by making sure that the prisoner is most comfortable in their environment. So things like booking a video service so that they can speak to family and friends during COVID, where visits are sort of unavailable, and because of Omicron, that's not possible, you see. So booking a video link and talking to people who they normally visit is something that we're working on. Welcoming them in, understanding their previous history, as in whether they're prone to self-harm or violent, so that the people on reception can actually look after them and accommodate them in the best ways. So that's actually what I'm working on at the moment. And I understand you guys are quite interested in everybody's career story and sort of their education as well. So I'll just briefly share that with you. So in terms of my A-level studies, I studied chemistry, biology, and economics. So nothing to do with technology. And my biology and chemistry was kind of dictated to me by my father. He said to me, he was trying to lead me towards a career, towards medicine or dentistry, that type of thing. Firstly, I didn't think I had the intellect, and secondly, it just was something that was really interesting to me. But I stuck with it. I did the A levels, and I came out with BCC in my A levels. So not too impressive, really, but with the right university application, I was able to get an offer from Aston University to study economics and management. I completed a 4-year course there, doing a placement year, which was really valuable to me because I got a year in industry, and it was actually based in London. So I moved to London. I live in Walsall, which is a town outside of Birmingham. So for a year, I got to move out to London, lived in Shepherd's Bush, and worked at a company called Atos, which was really insightful and my first professional job. In terms of part-time jobs and things, I'm sure you would have heard. So I've done a range of things. I actually worked as a taxi base operator at one point, so completely different to what I'm doing now. I've also worked at a traffic control company where they were actually managing incidents in America. So you know how on the motorway, you'll see a lane closure, or you'll see don't travel in this lane, or stick to 60 miles an hour. I actually worked for a company who was doing that in America, as well as inputting that information into in-car sat navs. Those are just a couple jobs that I did while I was at university. And then a really, really important part of my career journey was that placement, as I mentioned before. It was a placement at a company called Atos in IT services, and they provide services to people like and companies like the Olympics. They manage all their sort of data, as well as managing people trying to hack into the Olympic software and systems. They also work with the Ministry of Justice, providing them services as well as infrastructure and hardware. So the Ministry of Justice was actually a client at the company I previously worked at, and I did work for them, catering to the Ministry of Justice. Now I've moved over and work at the Ministry of Justice, dealing with stakeholders and dealing with partner companies who look for tenders and for bids to work on some of the projects that we're involved in. So that was my career journey, really, and up to now, where I am a fast streamer on the government's fast stream. Regarding the program, it's actually in the Times Top 100. It's rated as number one for graduates, rated by graduates. So it's definitely a scheme that you guys should look into when you get to that sort of stage. And also, I'm going to now change over to a presentation I've got regarding the civil service, and at the end of our session, you guys can ask me any questions you like about my history, schooling, university, or any work life questions you may have. So I'll share my screen now, and hopefully we can get through the PowerPoint. Cool. So these are 3 questions that I'm going to try and answer during this presentation. Firstly, what is the civil service? Secondly, what does a digital data and technology professional do, as that's the scheme that I'm currently on? And how can you join the civil service as maybe a DDAT professional or one of the other programs which are available to you? There's actually 15 schemes available, things ranging from commercial, science, life science and life sciences. You've also got things like property. You've got a range of different schemes, and I will link you to the website where you can check those things out. So firstly, what is the civil service? The civil service delivers public services and supports the government of the day to develop and implement its policies. The departments are staffed by civil servants, and ministers decide on policy, but then the civil servants are responsible for making this happen. So basically, the civil service does the practical and administrative work of the government impartially and helping to run a range of public services that you guys will probably be using in your daily life. So there's 23 ministerial departments, things like the Ministry of Justice, for instance, Ministry of Defense, and then you've got non-ministerial departments and 300 plus agencies and other public bodies and things associated within the civil service. When it comes to regions that you can work in when working for the civil service, obviously it's national and it's UK wide. So I have colleagues and friends that are actually working in the Welsh government, they're working in the Scottish government. And then for people who like to work abroad, there's options and opportunities to work for the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, where you can maybe get secondments abroad and work in sort of British embassies abroad. And then I myself, I live in Walsall, which is a town outside of Birmingham, as I said, and I've been allocated a role in Sheffield. Currently, due to COVID, a lot of it is working from home. But when working for the civil service, you are allowed to express your preferences into which location you'd like to work in. So whether that's staying in London for you guys or moving up and down the country, that's completely up to you. There's a lot of opportunities available. And now we'll talk about digital data and technology, the profession. It's a part of everyday life. And when it comes to things like arranging for a new passport, applying for your driving license, you'll be using government services to do so. And that's where digital comes in. It's all about making services really easy for users to use. And we're going to improve services. So things like paper forms and stuff that you might have had to do at the post office beforehand, like your road tax and things like that. Those are now all digital. That makes it easier for you guys to do that at home. And the government's investing in digital services so that the lives of users are improved. So within the digital data and technology family, there are 6 different job families. Things like data, product and delivery, which is what I'm working in, quality assurance, technical, user-centered design, and IT operation. These are just a range of different families of jobs. And then within our DDAT framework, you can have a look through it and see what jobs might interest you. And there's a full list of skills as well as desirable requirements of the candidates who apply for these jobs. So definitely something to look out for if you're interested. Here's a little video just to show you how digital impacts our daily lives and how the civil service help.
Digital was a huge part of how the government responded to COVID-19. GDS and the DDAT profession were at the heart of this response. More departments used components from the GovUK design system, which saved money and time and made sure new services were accessible. We designed the GovUK coronavirus landing page in less than 5 days. It became a trusted source of up-to-date information, and at its peak, GovUK attracted 132 million page views in a week. We worked across government to stand up the Clinically Extremely Vulnerable People Service in 4 days. This helped those most at risk during the pandemic by delivering 4 million food parcels to people who were shielding. GovUK Notify became central to coronavirus communications. It helped services communicate with citizens by text, by email, and by post, and met a 700% increase in demand when it was needed most. And we created the business support tool to connect private companies with government to work together on the coronavirus response, leading to 40,000 offers of support. Coronavirus has put digital government through its paces. We've achieved a lot, but there's more still to do to help build digital capability and make government work better for everyone.
Cool. So I hope that gives you a bit more of an insight as to when working in digital within the civil service, what types of activities and projects you can get involved in. Those types of projects you can't get involved in anywhere else, really. Sort of things like the delivering food to those vulnerable, 4 million food parcels being delivered, being on the front line, trying to provide a service and get all the information you need to best aid the British population. Those are the types of projects that you guys can be working on.
Digital was a huge part of how.
Now I'll be talking to you about the different types of access routes to a career within the civil service. So at university, there's things such as the Summer Diversity Internship Program. It gives you a salary of £300 to £350 per week. It's between 6 and 9 weeks, and it's for people of Black, Asian, minority ethnic backgrounds. And it's catered towards people who are looking to further their careers and get one step into the door of professional working. It's a really good scheme. I haven't participated in it myself, but from people I've spoken to, they really give you a lot of exposure and a range of different departments and a range of projects that you guys can actually work on. After university, if you join on the fast stream, which is the scheme that I am on, it's a £28,000 starting salary, a 3-year program, and after the 3 years, once you're at a grade 7 is what it's called, which is a management level position, you'll be earning on average between £45,000 and £55,000. So it's a real good way to maybe fast track career progression as well as salary. There are also apprenticeship schemes for the civil service. So if you choose not to go to university, for instance, you could go via an apprenticeship scheme. And then the direct entry is via the gov.uk website, where you can apply to thousands of jobs within the civil service, and that's always open to you and accessible at any point. Right now on the screen, you'll see Civil Service Career Matcher. That's a website that you guys can log on to see what type of career within the civil service will suit your characteristics or skills that you choose to input on that calculator. So maybe it's something that you guys can try later on. I'll be sure to share the PowerPoint with Poonam and Jen, sorry, to share that with you.